science class today. We are talking about weather tools, and here are a few weather tools that I use. This one is a barometer, and it checks the weather pressure outside, and this one is just relative from one day to the next because you just see the height of the water going up the tube depending on the air pressure outside. So there's air trapped up in here, and I've shown you guys this before and talked about it a little bit, but since we're talking about weather tools this week, I wanted to show you this again. So because of this air trapped inside, it will put pressure on it and change how far up the water goes in the spout. So it changes most of the time when there's bad weather coming. It'll go higher up in here, but yesterday it changed, and most of the time it doesn't unless there's bad weather coming, but there wasn't bad weather coming and it still changed. So I don't know what was going through Fort Worth last night. Okay, so this right here is a thermometer, and you can see that it is between the 60 and the 80. So it's right at 70 degrees, which is what we set our thermometer to in our thermostat to in our house. And so also you can see the effects that the sun has had on this thermometer, because this was outside hanging up and I brought it inside to clean off a bit because it fell off where I had it hanging. But you can see where the sun has made a difference, and even though this was on the side of something in the shade most of the time, most of the day, it's still, the sun had a big effect on the plastic. So this is where tape was kind of holding it down. Didn't work, but that's okay. All right, and this is an anemometer, and this helps with the wind speed. And if you look on Flipgrid, there are, even if you can't record on Flipgrid, you still should be able to see the video on how to make an anemometer, or you can just look it up. But it's how to check the wind speed, okay? So you could even look up, if you don't look up that video, you could look up how to check the wind speed, or a homemade anemometer, or a homemade wind speed checker maybe. I don't know if you can't remember how to spell that. So this piece right here is a different color because when it's spinning fast, it's hard to count how fast how many times it goes around, but because of this different color, it's easier to count how many times it goes around. And one time last year, it was really cold, so we actually didn't get to go outside, but we put this outside and counted, and it was over 100 times that it went around in a minute, and it was so windy, so windy. But when it's not windy outside, this thing just goes really slowly, and it feels like it takes forever, but that's okay because it's fun when it goes fast. So those are a few of the weather tools that I have at my house, but this one is accurate and gives actual readings, but the other two are, again, more relative. You can compare from one day to the next. So you can compare how much pressure there is from one day to the next. It doesn't give a numeric or number reading. And same with the wind speed, you can count how many times it goes around in 1 minute and then compare it from day to day. So it's still something that is helpful, but they have some really neat equipment. The scientists do have some really neat equipment that they use for the weather services that are really, really neat. So make sure you check those out. Check out the weather services online with your parents, and just see how many different ways that they check the weather to be able to tell us what's going to be happening. So see if you can even guess from day to day what's going to happen, maybe by looking at the weather radar, or by seeing filling out our form and seeing what it is from day to day. And maybe if you notice a change in the way the air feels, you might sense some changing weather coming. So it's really neat to pay attention to, and I can't wait to hear about your stories and your experiences with the weather these next couple weeks.